WonderBirds are supported by dogfriendly.co.uk, improving the lives of dogs and their owners.
Hello, Wednesday.
I just have to say, I am so excited about these gentle steps out into the new beginning. I went out on Monday night. I know Debbie was at the pub, but I went into London town and to have a little dinner with some friends on the streets. It was fantastic. And people were not going crazy. And it was the beginning of the beginning. And it just felt wonderful.
Oh, what did London town feel like, Harriet?
Well, it was extraordinary because there were parking spaces. Yeah. So that was extraordinary because normally you can't park anywhere. It was wonderful. It was buzzing, and to see young people looking so happy. And everyone was just taking that breath through masks, obviously, and socially distancing appropriately. But that beginning, it was fabulous. What about you guys?
Yeah, when I took Honey for a walk yesterday, and it was the same thing. All the local schools they were gathering together outside, after school. It was just such a joy to see it. And as you say, young people and then older people just walking out, and it just felt great.
And I just did what I had to do. Obviously, my roots, my nails, a girl has got to do what she's got to do. It's just ridiculous. It's just so nice to get my hair done.
How was the pub, darling?
Cold. And Sherry didn't believe I was there. So I had to call her and show her my friends as we were sitting there. We were slightly blue, weren't we, Sherry?
Blue, absolutely blue. Yeah.
And
Sherry, it didn't matter because they were drinking.
That's why they were blue. The alcohol.
There's a pub opposite me called the Windmill. I don't know how old it is. It must be 100, maybe more. And they've been closed and dark for a year. And it's always disturbed me, really, because I used to own a restaurant. So all restaurants and pubs, it disturbs me that they're closed. Anyway, on Monday night, the lights went up. And behind the pub, they had this enormous white marquee. And I can see it from where I am. And they covered it in fairy lights. And inside, they didn't have just heaters. They had this fire. I don't know if you've seen them. They're tall things.
Yes,
flames.
Amazing.
And they have 4 of them. And it was like looking into fairyland.
Oh my God.
It made me really emotional. And everybody just stood there and looked at it. And they walked in, you could sit and have a drink by the fire. And it was just, it just made me think, is this real now? Are we coming out now? Is this going to be forever? Or, but it's just, and every night now, I can see across the canal, I can see all the lights and the fire and everything, and people just laughing and enjoying, and it just made me so emotional. I thought, how wonderful. Let's pray and hope it stays. That's all I thought.
It is. It's the beginning of the beginning. And that's what we've got to hold on to. And it may be slow, and it may, and things may swing about back and forth again, but to know it's the beginning is just, so
well,
wonderful.
there is a surge, isn't there, in certain places like Fulham, things like that, and they're all having to be rechecked, and because of the new variant. But but they're saying we're going to have 2 vaccines a year now, don't they? It's just whether people will have the injection. That's the hard thing now. People are going, well, I don't really need it. Now they're doing under 40s, aren't they? 40 up or something like that. And then they're going to do under 40s. And I don't know. I think people are a bit scared of it now. But
there are many places where every day at the end of the day, they're throwing away vaccines for people who haven't turned up, as I said before. And I've had friends who you can sign up to the local places and they'll say, come in 10 minutes if there are vaccines left over, and you can go and get them. And I think people need to know about that, because that's really, again, a positive thing. So even if you're waiting or you're in a different age range or whatever, they're throwing them away, and other people can take them, which they do, which is fantastic. You can.
But I guess if you're 40 or below 40, you might think, oh, I don't need it. I'm too young. Do you know what I mean? I think that would be probably in people's heads. I don't know.
I think also it's about
it is.
protecting other people. The reason you have it is to protect other people also. So if you have that mindset and you don't, it's not just about, well, I don't need it, it's about I can help all of us, then hopefully people will think like that and will go and get it.
I just wanted to say that there was an article yesterday about having a passport to go abroad in May, but you have to have your vaccine certificate. And I totally agree with that. But I know people don't, but I do agree with that.
Well,
I agree.
Our guest coming in is the lovely Julie Peasgood, and Julie actually is doing some cruising. She's actually signing up, so she might be able to inform us what's happening with the cruises.
Yes.
Julie, are you there?
There she is.
Hey, come on, darling. We were just having a chat. Actually, we're going to go to say welcome and everything in a second, but we were just talking about vaccine and passports on the cruises that you're going on, because you're doing new cruises. What do you have to go on it?
Fully vaccinated. Yeah, fully vaccinated. I think that's going to be the way forward, actually. I think most companies, especially cruise companies, are going to have to say everybody fully vaccinated. Have we all had our first?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, I've just got a job come through on May the 6th, and they've said you need to be fully vaccinated by that. My second vaccination isn't due until the 17th, so somehow or other, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to get it, but it is the way forward.
Yeah,
you can ask for it if it's to do with work, Julie.
Can you?
Yeah, I did. I was doing a job, and they went, you've got to have your second jab. So I did it actually for the jab army, as it's called. But I'll talk to you about that. But will it be on your passport? When you do your cruises, do you have to have it in your passport?
I've no idea. I mean, I would think that you just have to carry out. I mean, we all got a little card, didn't we?
That's right.
I'll kind of laminate that card and just carry that saying fully vaccinated. Unless we have a stamp, which is probably better, but I don't know yet. Yeah.
Oh yes, you could have a stamp. You could have a stamp on your arse, Julie.
Like a tattoo.
Trying to be on best behaviour.
I think that would be an extremely good idea to have it as a tattoo. Then we
had a tattoo. I've always wanted a tattoo. When my daughter Kate was 25 and I was 40, we went all over Spain. We were in Spain trying to get our nipples pierced. It was a foolish idea, and thank heaven, three tattoo parlors, piercing parlors. Thank heavens they were all closed. It was a particularly bad day for tattoo parlors.
I've just done the sum.
Good heavens.
When Kate was 25 and you were 40, so you had it when you were 15.
Oh no, sorry, 50. Maths never my strong point. Never my strong point.
I think that's a very good thing, darling. It keeps us useful. I think it's a very smart.
Yes, very good. Yeah.
Well, welcome back, my darling. What did you do yesterday or on Monday? How did you celebrate the freedom?
We went to Kew Gardens, managed to get in, which is a miracle. Yeah, because I think the world and his wife wanted to go. And the cherry blossom was falling in the breeze, and everybody was really joyful. People said, hello. It was a bit like when you go for a walk on Christmas Day, and people are much jollier than they usually are.
Yes.
Even just walking through Richmond High Street on the way there and seeing the shops open was peculiarly exciting.
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so
and I noticed I went to the pub and everyone was nice. Usually they go, here's your drink. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
No.
I can't wait the moment we're allowed to eat in restaurants again, because that's a real treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie, yesterday I went to a garden centre with my daughter, and their restaurant in there was open from the outside. It was just so silly. So they brought us beans on toast we had, and they brought me a cup of coffee in a cup. And I went to Keely, oh my God, look, I'm drinking from a cup.
A treat.
The silliest thing. She went, all right, Mum, let's go over the cup.
in a way, we've all had a kind of program reset, and we are all so much more grateful for small mercy.
Yeah.
You know, it
True.
really has been an eye opener in so many ways. When do I start cruising? That's going to be next year, Harriet. I've formed Supercraft Cruises a couple of years ago, and I take crafters all over the world on cruises, crafting away. And we've got a new company, a beautiful little company called Backwaters. If anybody's interested in watching this and booking, best actually to go on supercraftcruises.com. I've just launched the website. Yes. But they explore the hidden canals and waterways of France. And we've got 5 of them booked, which is great, but not till next year, Harriet. He wanted to book something for September, but the goalposts keep moving. France is in lockdown again. And the worst thing is to keep on arranging something and then having to cancel. Best to plump for next year when normality might be fully back.
Yeah.
Julie, what are the crafting cruises? What do you do on the cruises?
Oh, we do everything. We do stained glass, we do bronze plaques, we do mosaics, we do curious Filipino jewelry, we do sock teddies, we do lots and lots of things that haven't ever been done on board before. It's not just making a little card or sewing a pincushion, although that's lovely too. I kind of try and literally push the boat out, forgive the pun, and just do things so that people. Linda Lusardi was on one we did to Canada, and she made the most beautiful heart with a glue gun. It was extraordinary. That woman is good at everything, I've decided.
She's brilliant, isn't she?
And she's beautiful. I would hate her if she wasn't so nice.
Absolutely. Oh, how fabulous.
That's next year. I know that you have been baking like a lunatic.
I've been baking. The funniest thing, one of the funniest comments I ever got on Insta, I've ever had on Insta, was when I posted yet another picture. I think it was of my cheese scones.
Oh, I love a cheese scone.
Topped with rosemary. And Debbie actually wrote underneath it, "What has happened to you?" And it really has. I baked my first cake. I'm 64 and I baked my first cake on January the 9th this year. And the reason I did it was not because of Bake Off, which I've got into now and love it. It was because my granddaughter Saha, who's 4, said, "Granny, can we bake a cake?" And I thought, well, I couldn't tell her, "Darling, I've never baked a cake." I felt inferior. Granny P has to step up to the mark. The only thing I'd ever made was melting moments when I was 12, and they very much weren't. They really weren't. But I got into it. Patrick bought me a wonderful mixer for Christmas, and it is like I go to bed with a cookbook. I take Mary Berry and Hugh Fernie-Whittingstall to bed every night. I dream about cakes, and
You've gone back to the 50s. What's going on?
It's ridiculous. I'm actually quite good, which is like extraordinary. Having never, I mean, I find that hard to say because it feels boastful, but my rose and violet now, my melting moments now are rose, violet, orange blossom, and lemongrass. Wow. And they're pretty good.
Wow. Yeah. We do accept food parcels, darling, just so you know. If you'd like to gather these scones and the melting moments and cake, we're happy to have it. So
carrot cake. My gluten carrot cake.
I love carrot cake.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
And you know what,
Julie, my dad baked when he was much older. When he looked after my daughter, he baked, and he used to bake Christmas cakes and carrot cake and banana cake. And he always used to say to me, "It's in your hands. It's the warmth of your hands. And if you haven't got those, he said you will never be able to bake." I mean, I completely believed him, because he's a very warm-hearted man, and he used to say, "It's all in the hands."
Yeah.
Is that true, do you think?
See, it's about cooking though, but my grandma, you see, was a fantastic cook, but she didn't like baking. She was
it's a very different thing.
Yeah, her sister.
Yeah, it's a very therapeutic thing, isn't it, Julie, baking?
Well, it is, but it is a different thing to cooking. But what I've found is, cookery-wise, I'm a bit I go off-piste. I think, oh no, I'll throw that ingredient in, or that would be nice.
Yeah.
and I don't
Yes.
stick to a recipe. What I've learned with baking, when it's somebody as good as, say, Mary Berry, you know, you've got to be as prescriptive as she is. That's the secret. Don't just think, oh, I'll chuck some more sugar in, or I reckon another egg would make it softer.
No.
Stick to the recipe. And it's good.
My dad used to start his Christmas cake in about June.
Yeah.
And so he'd start it, and every week he'd pour that much whiskey or brandy in it till Christmas Day. So by the time you had it on Christmas Day, you did not need a drink. You were out.
Yeah.
It was the best Christmas cake.
Yeah, they call it feeding the cake, Sherry. They actually, there's a name for it, feeding the cake.
Now I understand.
But I reckon your dads would have knocked your socks off.
Yeah, definitely. Julie, can I just ask you, because
Yes,
I baked a cake last week. It was a pre-mixed one, and I think it was like
Are you saying
a
cake mix? Are you talking cake mix?
yeah, and it's sunk in the middle. Why do you think it sunk in the middle?
I think it might have
pre-mix.
Yeah, you didn't probably actually bake it for long enough. You've got to stick a skewer in the middle,
right.
and it comes out clean. Also,
Yes.
did you line your tin with greaseproof paper?
No, I didn't know.
Okay, no, don't worry. If you do that, I did that, but I had a carrot cake failure. Oh, it was a terrible moment. I'd lined my tin with greaseproof paper that was too high, and the heat couldn't sort of get in. You don't need a mix. Just go.
No.
No.
What kind of mixer have you got, please?
I've got the great big American, all singing, all dancing one that is shown on Bake Off. It's,
Right.
It's
It's
fabulous.
a plug-in.
It's it's just
electric.
it's incredible.
But you need an extra extension to your house to have it, don't you? Because it's huge. Yeah.
Harriet, you do, and you need to only keep it in one place. Forget lifting it out of a cupboard. No.
Not happening. Okay.
It doesn't do that. It weighs a ton.
We have been,
You're
we
a
have been best
dedicated
friends
baker.
for 40 odd years now. Do you also have a sewing machine?
No, I did. My mum bought me one because my mum was a dressmaker, as well as when she left the circus, she did a lot of jobs, and dressmaking was one of them. She bought me a sewing machine. And unfortunately, it actually, we had a little cottage in Cornwall that burnt down on Monday, and the sewing machine was in it. And I was sad about a lot of things, but I wasn't too sad about the sewing machine.
Who started the fire, Julie? Who started the fire? And also, Danny, can I just run back? Did you say when she left the circus?
Yes.
Could you illuminate that a little bit?
And well, no, she was in the circus, in Bertram Mills Circus, and she was in a wonderful troupe of Japanese performance artists. And she did also, she was a juggler. She was juggled on people's feet, an act called Grizzly, and she walked the tightrope. Yeah.
Wow.
He did.
Yeah, she was.
And I'm assuming, Julie, that you can now do all this.
Of course. I also do trapeze, darling, or when I'm not baking. Or
baking.
Have you taken up a new craft at all?
Yeah, well, funnily enough, knitting. I do. We've just Let's Knit Together. Is a little club that started just before, like WonderBirds, just before lockdown. And so we've celebrated, as you have, our first birthday. My knitting skills, Harriet, leave a lot to be desired. Yes, that's another.
Are we talking fishing net gaps? Yeah. Maybe it could be a statement piece, a statement bit of knitting.
Well, I tried arm knitting the other day. Arm knitting's quite fun.
What the hell's that?
You knit with your arms, you don't knit with needles.
Really?
Yeah, and it produces huge holes, so you don't have to worry, really.
How are you on it?
Well, it's a skill, darling. It's a skill. I'll come back and teach you. I've got to perfect it myself. So that the knitting, and then there's the Supercraft Cruises. But I've also got something I want to ask you. I've got a lovely new column, which is great. In Make and Sew Toys mag, and it's interviewing celebrities. I had the idea to interview celebrities about their favourite toys. So you can see lovely Rosemary Schrager, who I know was a great guest on this show. Her favourite toy when she was young, well, actually, no, it's now she's older, and it's become her favourite toy and her grandchildren, is a lamb from the meat board in New Zealand, which is called Lammy. Very original. And but the blokes I've interviewed like toys. Rob Rinder wanted and now has, when he got to 40, I think every other present was a My Little Pony, because he never had them when he was a child. Yeah. And I found my original toy, which was Dolly Darling. I only found her because I was hunting toys up for Saha. Can you see? This is
Could you put her dress on, please?
It's a very, very elegant, and a sleeping bag I made her. And this was her wardrobe, which was made out of a very battered jewellery box my mum gave me.
Wow.
And I wanted to say to you, do you all remember your first toy, or if not your first toy, a toy that really hit the mark, that you think, whatever happened to so and so, because I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can talk about Kira, my daughter. I can talk about Kira's toy. Okay. So when she was 18 months old, I bought her a mini, and from Covent Garden. I think you were probably with me, actually, darling.
A mini
mouse.
A mini
mouse.
Minnie Mouse. Oh. And she still sleeps with it. Mums her husband has tried everything to hide it, to get rid of it, because now Minnie's dress falls off every night. So she needs a facelift. Her eyes have gone, but Kira adores
Are you talking about us, darling?
Yes. So Kira is with Minnie, and Talia also, my other daughter, has Spot, which she has had, that Patty Brake bought her. When she was born, and she's had that all that time. So my kids have had one to each. I can't remember what toy was my favourite. I don't really know if I really had. Was that sad?
No, not well.
Just really didn't care very much, but hey ho.
Yeah, very good.
What about you, Sherry?
Well, my dad bought me a set. Now, funnily enough, the top isn't here, but here's the teapot.
Oh, very
wow.
So that's the teapot, and I had cups and saucers and tea plates, and that would have been about 1955.
It's beautiful. Is it china? Is it made of china?
It's lovely. It says on the it just says foreign on the bottom.
But it's beautiful.
It must be China.
It's amazing.
It is China, but I mean, it must come from somewhere like China. But in 1955,
is it like
I don't
China
know
rather
where.
than plastic?
Yeah, but it's China. It's where he would get it from. So I've still got the cups, saucers, and the tea plates, and it came in an enormous, great big box, and I've kept it ever since. And all my dolls played with it. All my boyfriends played with it because I made them. And my husband left me because of it. So
actually, it's done everything you've ever needed your whole life.
Yes, isn't that fabulous?
Great
and it
memory.
just so happens the teapot was here.
Oh my God. Harriet, what about you, Harriet?
I always adored dolls, and I wanted baby dolls. I just always wanted baby dolls, and I had actually, I don't. She's probably up in a cupboard. Actually, a doll where her head spins from crying to sleeping to laughing. And 1 second, let me see if I got it. Yes,
that sounds very strange.
Oh
but
my
very
God.
Harriet.
Oh wow!
So sleeping doll.
That is lovely.
That's
But a bit spooky.
It is a bit spooky. It is a bit spooky, but I think I remember it was dolls like Tressie dolls. Also, there were amazing Sasha dolls that had. They were just so beautiful, and again, like Sherry said, the little teacups and things, but also making, I don't know what it is. I just loved all that stuff.
Did you make clothes for them?
Hair to match the lovely clothes she wears. Her hair grows. Do you remember that?
Tressie doll. Tressie doll. I love
Absolutely. Tressie. And I had a Cindy.
Cindy, yes.
Kate, my daughter Kate, had lots of Barbies, but when she was in her teenage years, I found them all hanging on a clothesline dismembered, which was a very disturbing sight.
A little bit worrying. Did anyone ever have I had a Chatty Cathy, which was a doll you pulled the string at the back and then she talked, but it was like, hello, good morning. And it was all called Chatty Cathy.
I think
so
you were
very
lucky.
Well, I had a teddy bear from my auntie. And, one of those posh teddy bears, the... Can you think of the name of it?
Not a Stife.
Stife.
life. Wow.
My auntie was like Mrs. Bouquet, you know. She was always like trying to get really posh things for me. And my mother called the teddy, I remember, I think it was my mother, because the mother, it was called Fred. And later, and I was really attached to this teddy. And later on, I said to my mother, why did I call the teddy Fred? And she said, because it had no hair, because you know these teddies have no hair. So she called it Fred Bear. And of course, I have to show off a bit. I had that. Which was the original Dinky toy, Lady Penelope.
Of course,
yeah. Bring it closer, Dee. Bring it closer.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And it matches your pink top, Julie.
Yes, it does. So I should really have it, Dee. If you
exactly. I've heard about you with Debbie's clothes.
No, don't. Less of which later.
Julie, did any of you watch with Mother?
Yes,
of course.
That's my favourite programme.
Yes,
the wooden tops were my
wooden tops.
That was
the
my
wooden
favourite.
tops. And Andy Pandy I wasn't very fond of, but the
well,
wooden
very strange family.
Bill and Ben.
Yeah.
Bill
And Cracker Jack, where you won everything.
Yes. Cracker Jack pencil.
Pencil.
Cabbage.
I don't know.
That at the end, didn't you? I can't remember. You
Was it when you got something wrong, you were given a cabbage?
No, I think you always got a cabbage at the end for some reason.
You did
get other people having lots of cabbages at one point. Oh, who knows?
I mean, did anyone remember Tales of the Riverbank?
Of course.
No.
Maybe we're slightly more mature. Those were little hamsters and things, and otters and the Tales of the River.
They were real as well. Yeah.
Oh, and of course, Blue Peter. I mean,
yes,
probably where my love of crafting began.
Yes, and that is probably why I don't like crafting, because I didn't like Blue Peter. I used to hate all those things. I could never make anything. I was one of those kids, right? I used to try and get stuck to the table or stuff. And because my grandparents brought me up, so my grandma wasn't, she was brilliant at everything, but she wasn't a sort of crafty grandma. So I was kind of left to do these things on my own. And I just thought, in the end, you know what? Forget about it. I'm never going to be a crafter. So
Julie, you must go on my daughter's company called the Little Wreath House, because she makes the most gorgeous wreaths, and she makes them from scratch. With the flower, I mean, they are sensational. So have a look at those.
It's summer wreaths and spring wreaths.
Every occasion.
Jerry, I'll do better than that. I'll contact her, and I do a column in Crafts Beautiful magazine, which is Britain's biggest selling craft magazine. I'll feature her. Yes. I need somebody for next month. So
great! I cannot tell you how amazing these wreaths are.
Okay.
They're just stunning. Yeah.
Well, that's it. We've just done a bit of PR on the show as well. What more? So, darling, I mean, what is coming up imminently for you?
Coming up imminently really is hopefully this job in May, if it all goes well, vaccination wise. Planning more cruises, which is good. Hope to return to Saga. Lots more baking, I can't lie.
Are you allowed to tell us what your job in May is, or are we not to know?
Not quite at the moment, if that's
okay.
Right.
Come back and tell us, darling.
I will.
Oh, Julie, but you were a fabulous guest, but you were anywhere. I mean, it's just like having you at home, isn't it, really?
I just love it. It's lovely to see your row of smiling faces. It really is.
Oh, we tried. Lovely.
And congratulations on WonderBirds. Just you've gone from strength to strength. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Great to see you, darling.
Thank you, darling.
Lovely to see you, darling.
Day, Julie. Bye.
Really, I was like this show actually. I feel really enlightened, even though you were talking about things I don't understand, like baking and stuff. Baking and crafts. She is my best friend. Isn't that interesting? My best friend, and yet the two things that she talks about the most, I hate.
Opposite attract, darling.
Can I just tell you who's coming in on Friday? Is the amazing Sally Lindsay.
Yay!
Lovely.
And she's quarantining in Malta, but more of that on Friday.
Yes.
Ooh, brilliant. Well, anyway, everybody, it's been a lovely show. Welcome back to the world. Go to the pub. I'm going again tonight. I don't care.
No change there. See you, darling.
Bye.
Bye.